So, over the last week or so, we've gone through a lot of character breakdowns, storyline breakdowns, and some plot and storyline predictions, but one thing we haven't gone through in detail is death predictions, and I do expect there to be some major deaths across season 2 of Ghost. This hallucination scene that we're gonna see Tariq having of Kanan, I think will be because he's gonna be forced to kill someone to protect himself and save himself. Because we all know Tariq, he only kills when he has to, or when his back is against the wall. So we're gonna run through a few dilemmas for Tariq, which will be Carrie, Zeke, and Monet, and why I think we could see Monet potentially having a decision to make with Zeke. We're also gonna have a look at some game-changing deaths for Dru's character and Brayden as well, and whether we could see them getting their first on-screen kills on Power. We're also going to have a look at Kane because no doubt, we all expect him to be trigger happy again in Season 2. So in this video, we're going to talk all things death predictions for Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2. But of course, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But let's talk about this hallucination scene first, because this scene is going to set the foundation for the next 3 characters that we're going to be talking about, which is Carrie, Zeke, and Monet. Now, we all know that Tariq, he's going to be having a hallucination scene of Kanan at some point in the next season, because no doubt he's going to be in a situation where he'll have to sacrifice someone to save himself. It's what he was faced to do a number of times in Season 1. There was Epiphany who Tasha said they needed to treat her the same way they did as Slim, but Tariq found another way which was paying her off to disappear. There was Tamika who he was ready to kill as well before Davis McLean walked in, and of course there was Jabari. He killed Jabari because he knew way too much information about him and the Tejadas, and he couldn't let him finish writing the story about him either, so Jabari had to go. But the last time we actually saw Tariq having a hallucination scene of Kanan was when Kanan convinced him that he needed to be the one to take out Ghost, not Tasha. But with Tariq, we know he only kills when he has to kill. Just like we went through at the beginning of the video, there was also Ray Ray and his involvement in Kanan's death as well. But the question is, who is Tariq gonna have to sacrifice and have to kill this season? Which I think could be in this hallucination scene. Kanan tells him that he needs to make the man's choice and make the man's move, and that's what Tariq is gonna have to do this season. He's gonna have to make the man's move and smoke someone. We saw this scene at the end of the first season, Tariq looking at himself in the mirror, and it just reminded me of how Ghost constantly looked in the mirror because we were seeing a different version of Ghost throughout Power, and him having to constantly navigate through life as James St. Patrick and Ghost, doing things which he didn't want to do but was forced to do. And Tariq is gonna have to face similar dilemmas, and in the end, he'll probably realize that he could do with Ghost's help this season. But Tariq, he's gonna have to make the man's move in this scene, and I don't think it's just gonna be anyone who he's gonna have to smoke, otherwise Kanan wouldn't be popping up in Tariq's hallucination. It's gonna be a real dilemma for Tariq on whether it's right or wrong to smoke whoever he's gonna have to smoke, and Kanan will definitely convince him, just like he did before. But who could he be faced to kill? Let's have a look at Carrie first, because she's definitely, I would say, at the top of my death predictions list. She's someone who has a history with Jabari, and even though the two really didn't get along towards the end, she'll want justice, and her being a former prosecutor will send her on a path of doing her own investigation. We're gonna see Power picking up pretty much straight away from where they left off, because Ghost Stars released this short teaser of how Carrie questioned Tariq if he'd seen Jabari, so she definitely doesn't know about Jabari's death, and we're gonna see a reaction to this. But as she starts to uncover the real truth about what happened, that's when the situation gets really dangerous for her, because she'll definitely start to get really close to the truth, and we all know what happens to those who know too much information in the world of Power, and this is why I think she could ultimately be the one to be taken out. Maybe not by Tariq in this scene, but maybe by Monet, who knows, as she starts to get close to Zeke and the Tejadas. But speaking about Zeke, let's talk about his character next, because he's someone who I really don't have a good feeling for, and it's because Power, they don't do happy endings, especially because he plays ball. Sean and D-Wiz, they were the other 2 characters in the Power universe who also used to play ball, and we all know what happened to both of them, especially Sean. We're going to be speaking about his situation in a bit more detail, and how we could see something similar play out between Monet and Zeke. But Zeke, he's involved. As much as Monet tries to keep him away from the game and on the right path, he's definitely involved. He'll be dragged into this whole mess even more when he's questioned by Detective Whitman. Now I'm sure he won't want to put any of the Tejadas in danger, but he is someone who could definitely let something accidentally slip. But if they put his basketball career on the line, for example, then he'll have a choice to make. We saw how worried he was that no team would touch him if he was connected to a murder when Carrie tried to calm him down, so them putting his basketball career on the line could be the turning point for whether he talks. And if he does throw one of the Tejadas under the bus, for example Dru, then Monet really has a decision to make. As I said in my character breakdown series, Tariq won't be the only character who has ethical problems and dilemmas to deal with, Monet will as well. In episode 8 of the first season, Monet said to Diana that she has every one of her kids playing their positions, and the reason why Zeke is the one playing ball is because Diana won't make as much money as Zeke will, and because she's not his son. So keep that in the back of your mind, how she said she's not his son. And I want to just rewind it back to Power, with Kanan killing his own son Sean. We've seen a constant theme throughout Power, with father and son killings, and even most recently in Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, with Kanan shooting Detective Howard. Now Kanan said to Sean just before he killed him, "You don't deserve to be my son." And Zeke isn't Monet's son either, so Monet killing Zeke to save one of her kids for the greater good, I can definitely see something like this happening. Especially because she wants to leave the game, because she knows you only end up dead or in jail. I can see a make or break situation for her, because we all know once you're in, there is no leaving the game in Power. She teased her character is going to be a lot more savage this season, so let's see what this savage side is and what she has to do for the greater good. But just staying with this whole Tariq situation, I want to talk about Tariq's 3 girls. Could one of them be caught in the crossfire, such as Lauren? We all know this game has consequences, as Tariq knows more than anyone when he saw Raina being killed by Ray Ray, and Monet did also warn Diana. Anybody who gets too close to Tariq either ends up dead or in jail, so could someone like Lauren be caught in a crossfire? Whether or not something like this happens, I think something will happen in Tariq's life where he'll really start to bring out his inner ghost. Last season I really thought it was going to be Tash's death, for him to turn into an absolute monster, and I still think we'll see Tash's death at some point, but we're going to have to wait just a little longer for this to happen. But I'm sure we're going to hear about Grandma Estelle's death, or potentially even her being taken into a nursing home maybe, which is why Yaz is going to be taken into foster care, so she could be another death that we may or may not see on screen. But let's talk about Ev next, because he is definitely also high up on my death predictions list. He's also a character just like Zeke, who's involved as much as he doesn't want to be, and he's also another person who I think could be caught in a crossfire. But more importantly, a death that I feel needs to happen for Dru's character development. If we really are going to see Dru going down a dark path, then Ev's death will only push him down that dark road further. And just like how I spoke about Monet having to take Zeke out, could Dru's first on-screen kill be Ev? Something that he needs to do for the greater good, because if he's pulled in for questioning, is he gonna talk? We know that he's already slipped up once with Jabari, so it's only a matter of time until someone does talk, and that brings me to Trace Weston. Trace is someone else who isn't built for the game, just like Brayden said, and just like Brayden also said, nobody gets to fuck up his brother but him. Now he's not built for the streets like Zeke and Ev, and he's already started to learn more than he should about how Brayden's involved with selling drugs and who Kane to Harder is. He was also picked up by Ramirez, who's now dead. So Trace, Zeke and Ev, they all fall into the same category of being caught in a crossfire, knowing too much information or snitching. And I don't necessarily think all of them will die, but I do think at least one of them is gonna get smoked. But elsewhere in season 2, we all know Kane, he's gonna be catching a hell of a lot of bodies too, because he's not afraid of pulling the trigger. And the same could be said about Mecha as well. He'll be leaving his mark on Lil Guap very early on in the season. Now do I think Lil Guap could die? I actually don't think so. I think he's going to be sticking around. He may even be the one that Tariq could pin this whole Jabari death on, with a murder weapon which I'm sure Tariq still has, and connect him to the murder. But there we have it. Those are some of the main death predictions going into season 2 of Power Book 2 Ghost. So let me know your thoughts down below on Tariq's hallucination scene, Carrie's death prediction, Monet potentially having to take Zeke out for the greater good, Ev dying, which could be the game-changing moment for Dru's character development, as well as Trace, which could be Brayden's moment, and could Brayden even get his first kill of the series? Let me know your death predictions down below, and of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.